phone.
So it says 350.
4:58. And if you're 3:57, you haven't set your watch back.
Oh, where?
Daylight savings.
And they're all, can you hear them talk about their clocks aren't reset? They all say 3:57. You already started it, right? The ones up on our screens, they're all time remaining. Presentations, it says 3. Okay. I might be looking at something different. Has the time, oh, their speaker timer is 0. Time, it's 3:50. Okay, all right, thanks, bye. It's just wrong, they say.
Video.
Why isn't it?
Council.
Five o'clock.
Do we have everybody?
Eric's gonna be 5-10 minutes late.
It is now 5 o'clock, March 20th, 2018. And I call to order the meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville. And the City Council sitting is the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the Victorville Redevelopment Agency, the Victorville Joint Powers Financing Authority, the Victorville Water District, and the City as Housing Asset Successor. May we have roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. Gomez?
Present.
Mr. Kennedy? Here. Mr. Negretti? Mayor Garcia?
Here.
Mr. Negretti absent.
Mr. Negretti expected to be here?
Yes, he said he was running 5 minutes late.
This is the time and place for the general public to address the City Council on any item listed or not listed on the agenda. Per Government Code Section 549-54.3, state law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. The council may receive testimony and set the matter to a subsequent meeting. I don't see anyone in the audience that would like to address the council. Therefore, may we have declaration of closed session items by our city attorney, please?
Thank you, Mayor Garcia. We have several items on the agenda this evening. However, several of the items are related. Item A on behalf of the City Council is anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2 and pursuant to Government Code 54956.9E3. The facts and circumstances related to that are set forth on the agenda. Item B and C on behalf of the City Council are related to items E, F, G, and H on behalf of the Airport Authority. That is pending litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1, and the case names and case numbers are all set forth on the agenda. Item D on behalf of the City Council is related to item I on behalf of the Airport Authority. Again, this is existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D1, and again, the case numbers and case names are set forth on the agenda. To the extent there's reportable action, we will report it either at the conclusion of the closed session or at the commencement of the regular 6 o'clock meeting.
Thank you. We will not recess to our closed session, and our regular session will resume at, regular meeting will resume at 6 p.m.
Andy German, Police Sergeant, who I just have.
Got her camera right there.
Not to mention, the first group I give a tour.
It is now 6 o'clock, March 20th, 2018, and I call to order the meeting of the City Council of the City of Victorville. And the City Council sitting is the Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the Victorville Redevelopment Agency, the Victorville Joint Powers Financing Authority, the Victorville Water District, and the city as housing as its successor. May we have roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. Gomez?
Present.
Mr. Kennedy? Here. Mr. Negretti?
Here.
Mayor Garcia?
Here. May we have closed session announcements by our city attorney, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Garcia. We had several items on closed session this evening, several of which were related. Item A was anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D2 and pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 E3. The facts and circumstances relating thereto are set forth on the agenda. Items B and C on behalf of the city are related to items E, F, G, and H on behalf of the Airport Authority. That is all pending litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D1. The case names and case numbers and parties are all set forth on the agenda. Item D on behalf of the City Council is related to item I on behalf of the Airport Authority. Also existing litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 D1. And again, the case numbers and parties to the litigation are set forth on the agenda. At this time, there is no reportable action with respect to any of those items.
Thank you. We will have the invocation delivered by Pastor Jeff Barbu from High Desert Church and the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Detective Sergeant Randy German. So will you please stand?
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we want to pause and thank you right now for all of the wonderful things that you've provided to us, the things you've provided to us personally, and the things you provided for our city. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for these members who work so hard to make good decisions for our constituents, for our citizens. And I thank you that you have provided them wisdom and experience and also voters to help them make these good decisions. I thank you for all the citizens that are here tonight as well. And I thank you for the opportunity to give public thanks to you this evening. And Father, I ask that you would continue to bless our city, continue to bring us resources and help us to steward them well, continue to bring us people and help us to use them well and to serve them well, continue to help us to grow in diversity and in unity and in love for each other and in education and in economic development and innovation for the future. We thank you that you have given us this kind of opportunity to serve in this way. And we pray that we would take that opportunity and use it well. God, I thank you for each council member. I pray that you would bless them, bless their families, bless their children and their grandchildren, bless their relationships, bless their businesses, bless their minds and their bodies, and bless their decisions tonight. We pray that tonight would be productive and beneficial to our whole community. And we pray all of these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Face the flag. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we do not have any proclamations or special presentations. So I will ask our city clerk to please present the agenda to council and any revisions to the agenda.
The City Council of the City of Victorville welcomes the public's participation in tonight's meeting. Persons who wish to address the council on a specific item or any item that does not appear on the agenda are requested to complete one of the white speaker cards located in the council chambers lobby and give it to the city clerk prior to the meeting. The mayor will call upon each individual who has submitted a speaker card. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, state law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. The council may receive testimony and set the matter to a subsequent meeting. Comments made during the public hearings, written communications, or public comment sections of the agenda are to be limited to 3 minutes per speaker or less, as deemed necessary by the mayor. Communications are to be addressed directly to the City Council. Individual comments to staff or members of the audience are not permitted. Any person or group who interferes with the conduct of a City Council meeting by willfully interrupting and/or disrupting the meeting is subject to removal. A peace officer may be requested to assist with the removal should any person or group fail to comply with an order of removal by the council. Any person or group who resists removal by a peace officer is subject to arrest and prosecution pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.9, Penal Code Section 403. Thank you for your cooperation. All documents to be considered for approval at this meeting are before the council. Following are 2 revisions that have been submitted for tonight's agenda. Revision to item number A1, appellant's request for withdrawal of the appeal hearing, and revision to item number D6, staff's request to withdraw item to request bid proposals. Those are all the revisions I have, Mayor Garcia.
Thank you. We will be starting with appeal hearings. Item number A1, request for withdrawal of appeal hearing for PLN 17-00017. Madam Clerk, read the recommendation.
That the City Council accept appellant's request to withdraw the appeal.
So no further action is required.
It'd be good to just have a motion to make sure you're accepting the appellant's request.
Okay. Can we have a motion on this? I'll move the item. Second? Second.
Second, I'm sorry.
Question of staff. Is it a public hearing item, and do we need to open the public hearing?
Not if we're going to accept the withdrawal of the appeal. There's no need to have the public hearing.
Thank you. Now we move on to public.
Wait.
We need a vote on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need a vote. Okay.
I have Mr. Cox has made the motion, and who's second?
I did.
Mr. Cox, motion by Mr. Cox, seconded by Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
I didn't make the motion.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. I was distracted here for a second.
That's okay.
Motion by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'd like to have a comment on this part. My comment is thank you for following and allowing the appellant and Sterling Inn to successfully negotiate the negative declaration to a viable environmental report EIR.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we move on to public hearings. We have item B1, a public hearing to hear arguments for and against approval of a notice of exemption and award of construction contract for the Silica Drive drainage project. Madam Clerk, please read the recommendation.
That the City Council approve the notice of exemption and award a contract to Southwest General Engineering Incorporated in the amount of $58,366 for the Silica Road drainage project.
Thank you. Are there any questions of council members, of staff?
Yes. So, hi, Brian. Thank you for being there. So, on B1, I'm interested in knowing what is the process for the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program, because Hughes and Pebble Beach has a couple of death throes, and I'd like to follow up with the CIP and the process, specifically to item B1.
Well, this project is funded out of the Drainage Utility Fund, and there is not much of an excess available for capital projects. So when we prioritize our projects, it's generally to mitigate an existing drainage problem. And there's a limitation on the funding that we can program every year because it's a lot of the fund is used for operations and maintenance, and there is not much excess available for capital.
So did you let me know what was the process of actually getting something on the CIP? Is it based on funds?
It's based on funding availability, and the prioritization is on mitigating an existing problem.
So council is allowed to bring something like this and vote on it? And bring it up to the CIP program for funding if there's enough budgeting?
Well, certainly anyone can bring a problem or an issue to our attention. It could be a council member. It could be somebody from the public. Sometimes it's our own maintenance staff.
Thank you. No further questions.
Anyone else? No? At this time, I open the public hearing. And I do not have any cards for this item. So I close the public hearing. Are there any comments from council members? One? No? At this time, I call for council action.
Move approval of the staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cox, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we move on to item B2, a public hearing to hear arguments for and against the approval of a notice of exemption and award of construction contract for the Victorville Water District Eureka Warehouse Parking Lot Project. Madam Clerk, please read the recommendation.
That the Board of Directors of the Victorville Water District, 1, approve the notice of exemption, 2, waive an irregularity in the bids due to tabulation errors, and 3, award a contract to Lee and Stiers, Incorporated, in the amount of $314,040.85 for the pavement improvement project, Victorville Water District Eureka Warehouse Parking Lot.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of staff at this time?
You know, Brian, the only thing I've noticed from this is I don't remember ever seeing a competitive bid with 3 bids that were so close. But were the specs just that easy to paving a parking lot? So
We never know how competitive they're going to be. These were very close, so highly competitive.
Anyone else? At this time, I open the public hearing. I do not have any cards from the audience or anyone that would like to speak. Therefore, I close the public hearing. Are there any comments from council members? If not, can I have council action on this item?
Madam Mayor, move for approval on item B2.
second.
Motion by Mr. Negretti, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we move on to consent calendar. And we have 3 items on consent calendar, items C1 through C3. These items can be approved with one motion unless there's one that needs to be put for discussion.
I'd like to pull items C1 and C2 for questions that I have.
You may proceed.
So for C1, a question to the staff, how accurate is the visual attendance of our staff who sit in the audience? And is there a check-in system like clocking in or a roll call or anything like that?
I believe the representation in the minutes is fairly accurate. I can tell you that the city clerk, sitting at her position at the dais, has a pretty good view of those in attendance and is fairly familiar with the staff that work in this organization. So I believe just it's a visual inspection of who's in attendance, and I think she does a great job and an accurate job at identifying those present.
Thank you. It's not that I doubt the city clerk's visual. It's just if we have a roll call with city council, I figured there was probably also a roll call available for the staff. And so I was just interested. Thank you so much for that. And then for item C2, there are several employee IDs whose total net pay for payroll period beginning February 10th through February 23rd are in the following amounts: $32,299.92, $57,943 with 78 cents, $42,379 with 25 cents, and $50,840 with 75 cents, and a minus in front of $42,379 and 25 cents. I know we had a discussion, but you were going to come up and I guess bring some explanation of maybe what their retirements or what they may be.
Those were actually two separations for actually at the department head level. So
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
Separations.
Two separations. So they're retirements. Are they? What are they? I'm sure people don't get paid that much money.
They were terminated.
So there were terminations.
The contracts were terminated, so those were terminations.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Motion by Mr. Negretti, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we move on to written communications. D1, request to approve the award of contract for the gas switch replacement project phase 2. Madam Clerk, please read the recommendation.
That the City Council approve the award of a construction agreement between Diversified Utility Services and the City of Victorville in the amount of $220,215 for the gas switch replacement project phase 2, project number CC 18-058.
Are there any questions of staff at this time from council members?
That's for item D1. Is that correct? Okay, for item D1, yes, I do have a couple of questions. Well, I think it's a question, comment. So it's just a comment. So I'm going to request of staff if there are projects that appear on the agenda.
Right now we're on questions of staff. Comments come later.
Okay, well, can you please clarify that?
I did. I said questions.
And I asked and you didn't respond, so I figured you were allowing me to speak. So thank you so much, though.
No, just wait. Let me follow the way it is. Okay, any questions of staff at this time?
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
You identify the budget account number, but what is in the budget? What's the name? Where the funds come from?
This is Fund 420. This is the electric fund for the Victorville Municipal Utility Service.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? No? I do not have any cards from anyone that would like to speak on this item. Therefore, now it's time for discussion from council members.
So, Mayor, I'm going to ask if you're going to set precedents, and every time there's a comment and any other council member during that time decides to ask a question, that you set that precedent, not only call my attention, because this has happened in the past, and that really does bother me. So for D1, my comment is I'm going to request of staff, if there are projects that appear on the agenda, to please add the number or the project number, since this will alert me if there's any part that has to do with the capital improvement program. And I noticed a couple of them had it and a couple of them didn't. And because I'm trying to understand the CIP process, if you put that project number, it alerts me to what is approved and what is not approved as a CIP. Thank you.
Are you done?
I'm not speaking anymore. Did you ask that to Cox? No. That's why I'm asking. That kind of precedence is what I'm asking for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have a motion from council members?
Move approval of D1.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Negretti, seconded by Mr. Cox. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we move on to item D2, submittal of application for Cal Recycle City County Recycling Grant. Madam Clerk, please read the recommendation.
That the City Council adopt resolution number 18-010, authorize application for grant funds, ratify the expenditure plan, and authorize the city manager or his designee to process all documents required for program administration.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff by council members?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
For D3, would staff provide a brief overview of the cleanup grants and how it assists our residents in their own backyards, please?
Was that for item D2 or D3?
D3?
We're on D2. Did you?
Okay, so what is the process where families or nonprofits can request a recycling container? Is there a limit? Is there a cap for administrative compensation? If so, what's the percentage?
The process for requesting the recycle container would just be to call into our main customer service line to submit the request. As far as a percentage, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Call where?
Into our main customer service line.
And then as to, well, I know CDBG block grants, we have a 50% cap off for administration, so I was assuming for any kinds of grants, you have to be paid as well. But I was hoping that most of the grant actually went to assist the families, the nonprofits, and the businesses versus a lot of it probably staying in the administration for their work that they're doing. So that's, I was asking if there's a cap.
Okay. In this case, this is not a CDBG. There is no administration associated with this particular grant.
So that grant goes fully 100% for the promoting and the marketing and none of it?
Correct.
So the pay of the individuals, such as those that work there, is budgeted under the general budget?
Correct, the solid waste budget.
Thank you. No further questions.
I do not have any cards from the audience. Therefore, is there any discussion among council members at this time?
This item is to authorize staff to apply for a recycling grant. Am I right?
That's correct. This is a fairly routine item. It's a grant that I believe we received dating back to 2000. And procedurally, they require as a part of the application that before the application on their end can be accepted, that the legislative body, the city council, has to take just an official action to allow for the application. So that's effectively all this item is doing, is authorizing the application to be submitted.
I'll move approval of the item.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Anyone? No? Well, I'm just reading what I have here. D3, Cal Recycle grant applications and grant related operations. Madam Clerk, read the recommendation.
That the City Council approve resolution number 18-014, authorizing the city manager or her designee to submit applications for Cal Recycle waste tire cleanup grants.
Are there any questions of council members of staff?
Yes. Would staff provide a brief overview of the cleanup grant and how it's assisting the residents in our backyard in layman's terms so they understand what it actually goes to?
Sure. This is a waste tire cleanup grant. It's funded by the Cal Recycle Department in California, and it's intended to address illegally dumped tires in the desert, and it pays for the collection and disposal of those tires.
So anybody that has tires in their backyard can just kind of bring them to you, or if anybody, even a business, can bring them? Where are they bringing? Where are they doing the drop-offs?
No, they're limited to illegally dumped tires. Businesses are required to manifest and dispose of tires through their through state-mandated regulations, and residents can actually bring in tires through our materials to our facility there in Anacapa as well. But this is limited to illegally dumped tires.
Okay, so what does that mean? In my conversation with Keith, I thought I understood that anybody can come to the McArt public building and kind of just drop off their truckload of tires, but I'm hearing something different.
They can. It's just that this particular fund pays for the abatement of illegally dumped tires. It's a little different.
Thank you. No further questions.
I do not have any cards on this item. So, is there any further discussion from council members?
Move approval of the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cox, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we have item D4, lease agreement for building 685A at Southern California Logistics Airport. Madam Clerk, read the recommendation.
That the Board of Directors of the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority approve entering into the standard lease agreement by and between SCLAA and Reach Air Medical Services, LLC for Building 685A and authorize the interim deputy city manager to execute said agreement.
Thank you. Are there any questions of council members of staff?
Yeah, just a couple. Read the staff report. I like the terms of the lease. Looks pretty good to me. Has this lease been scrutinized carefully by your office?
Yes, sir, it has, and we've performed due diligence as well on the company. We believe we've got a solid company, and if you notice that that's a new all-time high for that type of building as far as the lease rate.
Has the city attorney looked over that lease pretty carefully?
Yes, we have.
And the city manager, he's up. You looked over this lease pretty carefully?
We have. I've authorized Deputy City Manager to take the lead in charge of review, and she's approved it going forward.
We think we've exercised all the appropriate controls over this lease to make sure that it's been properly vetted and scrutinized. I don't have to read it myself, do I?
That's correct.
Good. Thank you. I'll move approval.
Second.
Was there any discussion from anyone?
Yeah, particularly I like to comment back. I don't really rely on staff not just to give me the recommendation, regardless of what they believe is there and is right. I actually read word for word what is happening here, because personally, it's my vote and I'm accountable to that. So I just like to throw that out there after hearing Mr. Kennedy's comment. Thank you, though.
Motion by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mr. Negretti. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Item D5, lease agreement for building 682C at Southern California Logistics Airport. Madam Clerk, read the recommendation.
That the Board of Directors of the Southern California Logistics Airport Authority approve entering into the standard lease agreement by and between SCLAA and Cavu Aerospace Incorporated for Building 682C and authorize the interim deputy city manager to execute said agreement.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of staff? Anyone?
For item D5, I have a couple of questions. Is Cabo a temporary agency, and will they be providing jobs to our locals here in the high desert, and have you verified this information? 2, Cabo seems to claim to be the greatest dismantling company in the country. How many dismantling companies are there currently in SCLA? I'm thinking a couple, I'm not sure, so I would seek your advice to let me know. And would having these many companies, I'm sure there's more than one, at SCLA, would that benefit the other dismantling companies? And it's my understanding of this contract that it could appear that the city is bringing companies that are technically competing with other dismantling jobs over at the SCLA.
Certainly. Thank you for asking those great questions. Our staff report does address, we anticipate about 20 new employees. Calvo intends hiring 20 new folks. You ask about if we did some due diligence. We did. They are currently at 3 airports, Stuttgart in Arkansas, they're at Goodyear, Arizona, as well as Roswell, New Mexico. We followed up, and we got glowing reports from all three facilities stating that they are just an absolute splendid tenant. They're timely in their payment of rents, and they've been very good to work with. In fact, it was at Roswell that the Economic Development Agency there actually built them a demolition pad and entered into a long-term lease arrangement to recapture the funds expended for that. So we looked high and we looked low. We found very glowing reports on this company. They have to date dismantled about 270 airplanes, which they believe to be at the top of the chain. Don't know that for certain, if there's anyone else that's done more. As far as dismantling companies on the airport right at this moment, there is a company called ARC that does dismantling, and ComAv does dismantling. So those are the two that I'm aware of.
So it's my understanding that this Midwest company staffs temporary workers, and at that, not locals. If I repeated that, excuse, I wanted to make emphasis. Has the city spoken with its companies at SCLA to see how others may feel about this company that appears to us as a fly-by-night company who might be there temporary then leave?
My research is not bearing any fruit to indicate anything is fly-by-night with regard to this company. In fact, quite the opposite. They've been a successful company. The gentlemen right here behind us represent 2 of the 3 owners of the company, and with regard to employment, I would direct those questions specifically to Mr. Brian Hancock.
Thank you.
Ask about employment. Do you hire just temporary employees?
Temporaries? No, we actually do not have any temporary employees on our payroll at this time.
So you're the owner of?
I'm one of the owners, yes, ma'am. There's 3 of us.
For Kavu.
Yes, ma'am.
Then my last question, I spoke to SCLA tenants, and I was given the impression that the city is undermining its tenants who are providing full-time local jobs to the community, and I was warned that a contract such as this one may not necessarily be helping out in the airport. Is the city trying to work with all the dismantling companies that we currently have and the tenants at the airport without any exception? And is the city undermining these other tenants?
I believe I can address that. Specifically, as a public use airport and an airport that receives grant funding, we're under obligation through federal grant assurances to, amongst other things, be non-discriminatory in nature, and we have a covenant to become as self-sufficient as possible. What that means, in short, is that we need to employ business-type practices within our government confines to bring tenants onto the airport and to do so fair and equally and equitably. We've done that with this company. We have looked at them fairly, honestly, and equitably. We've looked at their financials, and we've done as much research as reasonably possible to determine the quality of this company. It is not our position as a public airport to pick and choose winners and losers. We have facilities that need to be leased. We have revenue that needs to be earned. If an aeronautical tenant comes here, we cannot turn them away if they meet the criteria of our facilities.
Just a question. Do you see it as your duty or our duty to protect one tenant from fair competition from another?
No, sir. Absolutely opposite. I'm sorry if I've misstated that.
No, I don't think you did.
It's our duty to be non-discriminatory.
Non-protectionist and...
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Now, that doesn't...
Believe in a free market economy.
Yes, sir. We do. We're capitalists.
I appreciate your response, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and I appreciate that we are self-sufficient, and you're saying that we need to employ and bring new employers, and so I really do appreciate that you're not there to judge winners or losers, but you know what I've witnessed at City Council? That your vision is not our vision, and it's very unfortunate because if we were to follow what you're saying, we wouldn't be in litigation right now with ComAv. And so it's very unfortunate that I would love to believe what you just said, but because we have the power up here by 3 votes to vote Kavu in or not vote Kavu out or whatever it needs to be, I don't have that power. I'm just a voice, and the community is here to watch how we vote and what we're doing. So that's just my concern. So thank you for your questions, though. You were very honest in them. Thank you.
You bet.
I have a question. Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Excuse me, this is for the staff. Twice there was the comment that the city is bringing in competition and the city is undermining so on. But the first page of the memorandum from staff says staff was contacted by CAVU regarding the potential lease.
That is correct.
They contacted the airport authority.
Yes. We did not seek out a dismantling company. Staff was contacted by this company, and a standard lease was negotiated. We actually could not deny them, in good faith, we could not deny them a lease. We would actually be violating our own grant assurances.
Thank you for the clarification.
What was that last? RAND assurances?
Grant assurances, FAA grant assurances.
Any other questions? No? I do not have any cards from the audience. So if there's no other discussion, then we have a motion.
I'll move approval of item D5 lease agreement.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kennedy, second by Mr. Negretti. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with Ms. Garcia voting no. Gomez voting no.
Please.
I apologize.
Item D6. Staff has withdrawn the item as the cost exceeds $25,000 and is subject to request for bid proposals pursuant to the city's purchasing policy. So this item has been withdrawn.
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
That's item 6, correct?
D6.
So is this being continued, withdrawn to rewrite the description, not to purchase it at all, to contract?
It says for bid proposals.
We received, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Cox, we received three informal quotes, and it triggered in our purchasing department that at the time we received those quotes, the lowest amount was just slightly above the $25,000, which would require us to actually go back out and do a formal bidding process for it. So although we did receive 3 informal quotes from 3 reputable companies, we're going to rebid formally because our policy states that we should have actually formally bid it out.
George, I'm sorry. What is the sales tax amount included in the item? Must be $2,000?
Yeah, it's what pushed it over that limit.
So if we don't count sales tax, we're under the $25,000.
That's correct.
I mean, we're $600 over?
Yeah, we're $600 over. But at this time, I think it's fair that it's probably responsible for us to, even with that, and I see your point, but we'll probably do a formal bidding process and get the same 3 responses and be okay with according to our own rules and regulations.
Any other questions?
Yes. For item D6. So could you please provide the council and the audience a brief overview of what is this $25,000 trailer with fiber optic? Why will it be used in the city, and what departments will have access to it? And would you also address why a clean place to splice the fiber optic is so essential to the job of how the machine will be used and its benefits for that? And my last question is, has the city of Victorville absorbed the costs associated with the planning that the engineers carried out by in-house staff, and did we pass it on to the lowest bidder?
In the agenda item, it's stated that we have a number of fiber optic lines in the city that are used primarily for communications for our traffic signals, as well as some video for other uses. The police share some of those lines. We have staff that are trained in the maintenance and in the installation and splicing of fiber optic cables. This trailer will facilitate the maintenance of those because it will be in a clean environment. It's more difficult to splice a fiber optic cable in an environment such as when dust is blowing in the wind and so forth. And so since we already have the in-house capability to splice and install fiber optic cable, this will make our operation more efficient.
Thank you. No further questions. Well, actually, the last one you haven't answered. Has the City of Victorville absorbed the costs associated with the planning the engineers carried out by in-house staff, or did we actually pass that on to the lowest bidder?
This really doesn't have anything to do with any engineering because for any fiber optic installations, if they are installed, it's its own project or a component of a project, and that is budgeted as part of that project.
So you submitted this item?
Excuse me?
This is your item?
Yes.
Yeah. So as an engineer, I put two and two together. Brian Gangler, our engineer, perhaps in-house planning. So that's why I asked that question. But thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions? No? Can I have a motion?
I'll move approval. Did you?
Withdrawn.
Oh, withdrawn.
I'm not sure we need a motion. The item's withdrawn per staff's request.
So we move on to item D7. Appointment of voting delegate and alternate to the SCAG Regional Conference General Assembly. Madam Clerk, read the recommendation.
That the City Council appoint Councilmember Kennedy as the voting delegate to the SCAG 2018 Regional Conference General Assembly and Mayor Pro Tem Cox as the alternate voting delegate.
Are there any questions of council members of staff?
Yes. Has Mr. Kennedy confirmed his attendance to this conference? Has Mr. Cox confirmed that he is available May 3rd and 4th for the 2018 Regional Conference and the General Assembly?
I'm available if anybody wants to know.
Okay.
Got a question? Yeah, I'm available.
I was told that Kennedy wasn't available, but thank you for clarifying that you are available, Mr. Kennedy. Will we get back reports from each or any of the council members that will be attending the Southern California at a Crossroads Regional Conference?
As far as I'm concerned, yes.
Thank you. And does the city know how or what votes will be casted for the city of Victorville? And has there been any conversations?
How would you know?
Don't know.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because if SBCTA, we have the delegate and the alternate being respectively Kennedy and Cox, and the mayor automatically designates both of you to go to the SCAG because you've been sitting in the transportation meetings, then I would assume that there's some kind of understanding of how you're going to vote. It's not just going to be blindsided, and I was hoping to get some of that information since we do have that for discussion, and any other items we won't be able to discuss any of this.
I will attempt to answer that. My understanding was that the city council appointed Councilmember Kennedy as the voting delegate to SCAG because he attends the SCAG meeting. I'm the alternate. I wasn't appointed by the mayor. I was appointed by the council as the alternate. In regard to the General Assembly, they vote on issues. And if the city council would like to see what the issues are, as soon as I get a more in-depth agenda, I will make it available to all the council. This is March, and this is in May, April, May. I'm sure before we get to the items of voting on anything, that will be a subject matter and a position paper. I will submit that, and as soon as I get it, I'll ask the administration to put it on the agenda if any of the council members want to make comments in regard to how the city's official vote should go. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
In order for that, do we have to make a motion and agree? Because I know that there's procedures to have that at a later time. We're not to ask administration unless administration has already that direction and it's a unanimous thing to put it on there. I need clarification.
I believe it's been standard practice, direction of the city staff to always provide that information to the council members prior to these types of meetings.
Okay, thank you. And then for clarification, I was in a meeting Monday, and I was told that it's regular procedures, even part of the language for the recommendation, that SBCT automatically gets delegates and alternates to be at that SCAG meeting. And I was also told that it's the mayor that's supposed to attend with an alternate, but since the mayor has declined, she has put it up for the other two. So just for clarification, because now I'm getting two stories and I don't want to be confused. I don't want to sound like I'm not know what I'm talking about when I had a previous conversation, but over here it sounds different to me.
I believe Mayor Pro Tem Cox's explanation of the SCAG appointments are actually committee appointments made by the collective council, and as I had seen a list of the various committee appointments council members sat on, in fact that was confirmed in my review, that those appointments came from this council collectively.
Right, I'm talking about the SCAG.
Correct, and I am as well.
Okay, so should I start recording my meetings on Monday? I mean, to say, why am I getting the information that the mayor was the one that selected? And I'm not trying to point any fingers. If you want to come out and say who you are, perfect. But if not, if I have to record my meetings on Mondays, I will do that. I just want to look stupid. I don't want two information pieces, one out in the public and one behind closed doors. So if there is a misinformation and that's how it happened, that's fine. But I need the clarification or have it in writing, and I always go with the writings. So that's really important. So from now on, I will seek that, and I'll give one opportunity, and if that doesn't happen, and if I feel the same way I'm feeling right now, I will just start recording my meetings. Thank you very much.
As staff, I would like to say I hope that you don't have to record meetings, especially those that are intended to be private, privileged business meetings. I do believe perhaps there's a misunderstanding, and maybe that's something that we can talk about, and perhaps I can work with you a little bit more closely just to try to make our communications a little bit more clear.
I appreciate it, and my meetings are always open to the community, and I know if I've said that, I've brought a couple of people with me, to know what we're going through. Unless we're talking about closed session, they're closed, but other than that, I've allowed people to come into my personal meetings, going over to it through the agendas. So anyone is welcome to do that. Every Monday, I have an hour meeting, and every first and third, I have 3-hour meetings from 9 to 12, so you're more than welcome to join me so we have a better understanding of our city workings. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but are you done?
Yes.
I do not have any speaker cards. So is there any other discussion? None? Then we have a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of D7.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Negretti, seconded by Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Now we will move on to public comments. Madam Clerk, read the public statement so everyone's aware. And I do have, I believe, over 20 cards. So read the statement, and then I'll get to this here.
This is the time and place for the general public to address the City Council on any item listed or not listed on the agenda, per Government Code Section 54954.3. State law prohibits the Council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. The Council may receive testimony and set the matter to a subsequent meeting. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes per individual or less, as deemed necessary by the Mayor, depending upon the number of individuals desiring to speak. All communications are to be addressed directly to the Council, not the members of the audience. This is a professional business meeting, and courtesy and decorum are expected. Please refrain from any debate between audience and speaker, making loud noises, or engaging in any activity which might be disruptive to the decorum of the meeting. Any person or group who interferes with the conduct of a city council meeting by willfully interrupting and/or disrupting the meeting is subject to removal. A peace officer may be requested to assist with removal should any person or group fail to comply with an order of removal by the council. Any person or group who resists removal by a peace officer is subject to arrest and prosecution pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.9, Penal Code Section 403.
Thank you. Due to the number of cards that I have here, if you have someone that actually can speak for you, I would appreciate it if you did that. There's quite a few cards here. And if not, either way, it'll be a 2-minute time limit that you will have to accommodate everyone.
I am not speaking for the entire group. I think it's important that they have the opportunity to speak for themselves. I'm Craig Garrick. I was here again last week for 3 years ago.
Sir, I'm sorry, but I have to follow my guidelines. And
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking to frame it so you could cut the time. I misunderstood you.
No, I was just asking. I'm sorry. Can you give me just 1 second and
Absolutely.
I'll complete, and
Please.
then I'll call you up. Anyhow, is there a group that, or a representative of a group that wants to speak so that I don't have to go through every single card? No? Okay, so then the time limit will be 2 minutes. And now that we understand that, Barry Barnes is the first card that I have. After Barry is Cherise Glacier.
My name is Barry Barnes. I've been working for ComAv Technical Service since February 2001. Been a member of the High Desert since 2011, and I've been a resident of Victorville that whole time. I worked with this company for a long time, 18 years, and one thing that's for certain, they're a fair company, but they want to be treated fairly. And we don't feel we're being treated fairly when it comes to the negotiations with regard to the lease increases. And all we'd ask is that you'd reconsider and to please come back to the table and make a fair and equitable, for all parties involved, lease with our company. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, if you can refrain from applauding until the end, please, so that everyone can have their time limit. After Cherise, it will be Christine Nunez.
Hello, my name is Cherise Glacier. I've been with ComAv since 2005 and a resident of the High Desert since 1992. I currently reside in Victorville, and I am a voter. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to come to work for ComAv, as jobs were not plentiful in the High Desert. I've had the honor of watching and participating in the growth of this company that I view as an extended family. I believe spending money to fight needless lawsuits does not benefit anyone and is a waste of time, money, and energy. I feel the money could be spent in a much more productive way, and I would like to see us work together for the greater good and continue to see job growth in the High Desert. Thank you.
After Christine, it will be John White.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Karistan Nunez. My husband, Jose Nunez, has worked for ComAv, who has been here in the High Desert for over 20 years, for 10 years. ComAv is my family, and I support my husband, his co-workers, and his leaders. As a registered voter, I hope that you care for ComAv as much as I do. Thank you.
Diane Peterson will be after John.
Mayor, City Council, my name is John White. I've been an employee of ComAv for 30 years. I started up here in 1998 as one of the sole employees of then Southern California Aviation, and my responsibilities were to grow our customer base. To date, just so maybe a lot of you weren't here back then, and I'm feeling a little older tonight as well, but we have had over 2,000 commercial aircraft through our facility. Please don't think for 1 minute, and you're all very smart people, that a company just calls up the city of Victorville and says, hey, we want to move out there and open up an aviation company. Every single aviation company out there today is there because of us. Now, I personally worked with, and I don't know if I can say this or not, John Roberts and others, and Andre back in the day, on really structuring the airport and getting the customers in there. We are responsible for Goodyear. We are responsible for Nordam being out there, for Federal Express and others. They all came on our coattails, thinking that all these aircraft that we contracted in were their opportunity. They just come, and that was us. There was zero out there, zero. And I don't know if any of you remember that. It was before there was an airport authority. There was none. It was DOD, 100%. So there's a lot of things that really...
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Well, I haven't talked this short in a long time. But these people are my family, especially this man here. He sacrificed a lot. 9/11, horrible time. Think about that. All those airlines went bankrupt. We didn't get paid millions of dollars. Somebody had to sacrifice. Somebody had to put up their home. Somebody had to fund it. Somebody did. You should be grateful. Thank you.
After Diane, it's Northern Garrick or Nathan.
Hi, my name is Diane Peterson, and I have been with ComAv Technical Services for 15 years. Started with Southern California Aviation. I was part of the management team when we were going through all the growth, and I just have to say that a lot of our employees have been with us for a very long time, and I see all the revenue that our customers, our employees, everybody that comes to Victorville drives the revenue. So I really hope that you can make a fair and equitable settlement with our company.
After Nathan, it will be Jose Nunez.
Good evening. I am Nathan Garrick. I am currently the Director of Sales over a region for ComAv. I'll put it very simply. All the way walking in here and hearing the prayer, I heard about economic growth. I've heard about bringing jobs to Victorville. I've heard about growing the community. And I sit here before you and see you denying that happen, and it's very, very frustrating to watch. I would hope that we could work together as I have brought my family here and live in the high desert so that we can help this community grow. And I would hope we could put egos aside and sit together and really make this work, because I do live here, unlike some others. And we are invested in this community, and ComAv is here, and we do want this community to grow, and we are invested to be here and to be with the people, and we love it. Thank you.
After Nunez is Eugene Corey.
My name is Jose Nunez. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I have been part of ComAv for 10 years, and I'm here to support the company 100% because I've seen the growth that the company brings to the community over these past 10 years. It'll be a mistake to fight with the company because the company is bringing so much to the city. Please reconsider and bring us, the community, back to believe in you. Thank you.
After Eugene, it's Rudy Adamson. Adamson.
Good evening. My name is Eugene Corey, and I've worked for ComAv Tech Services for 10 years. I'm the avionics senior ops lead. I have watched this company grow. They have given me great opportunity. They are my family. I'm asking this council to please come to the bargaining table. Come and speak with us. Watch us grow and help you grow as well. Thank you.
After Rudy, it will be Sandra Valenzuela, I believe it is.
Hi, my name is Rudy Adamson, and I've been with ComAvs for 9 years. And I just want to say we're family, and I'm here to support them and back them up 100%. Thank you.
After Sandra, it will be Bill Tollinson.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Sandra Valenzuela, and I've been working for ComAv for 5 years. I'm here to support my company, and you need to know what a family-orientated company this is. This means a lot to me. This is my family. I hope that issues would be resolved, and I hope in a timely manner and fairly. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
After Bill will be Don Dabrowski.
Good evening. My name is Bill Tollison. I'm the general manager for ComAv Technical Services, the aircraft side of the house. I've been in aviation for 33 years, and that's all I know. I don't know politics, but I do know aviation. Since I've been with ComAv for 1 year, I started last March. This is my 1 year anniversary with ComAv. We have grown. We've doubled in size with our head count, and we've gained over 150 aircraft since I've arrived. And I would say that with the issues that we're having with the airport right now, it has prevented us from growing even more. We can grow exponentially larger, and we have a lot of other opportunities that we haven't been able to take right now because of the issues that we have. And I would just ask you all to reconsider and work with ComAv and watch the growth that we can give to the city of Victorville. Thank you.
After Don, it'll be Seamus O'Donnell.
Hello, my name is Don Dombrowski. I've been with ComAv Technical Services since 20 years ago. Anyway, since the beginning. It's been a long time. I'm a little sick too. So anyway, I just wanted to say I'm here to help support them. They are my family. They all have seen me grow and my family grow. And I just ask that you guys, help us out and make the right decisions for the community, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Seamus O'Donnell. I moved here a year ago with my wife. We took up residency in Victorville. We're part of the growth that ComAv has enjoyed. And like Bill Tollison, we see the potential for further growth with your cooperation and support, which I ask for. Thank you.
Christina Ironman, and then Corey Edwards, I believe it is, after Christina.
Hi, my name is Christina Ironman, and I am a part of the ComAv family. I've been there about 6 years. They also employ my son, which enables him to provide for our grandchildren. I've lived here in the high desert since I was about 8 years old, and I feel that ComAv offers great jobs for our hometown and our community. And I hope that we can all resolve this in a manner ending in a fair and just outcome for everybody. Thank you.
After Corey, it'll be Michelle Harold.
My name is Corey Cloward, and I'm the Director of Facilities for the ComAv companies. We moved our family here to the city of Victorville in Apple Valley about 9 years ago. A couple of weeks ago, as I watched the audit report relayed to the City Council, I listened to the commentary regarding the bond repayment issues of SCLA, the complete insolvency of SCLA at a $340 million worth of debt, the legal fees that ensue, now the repayment towards ComAv because of the summary judgment, regardless of that appeal, the $24 million lawsuit imposed by the Stapleton Group for cutting back the backdoor lease to part at a ridiculous rate, I might add. We've also happened to be a company that was well on their way out of business. Also, the $20 million defense cost to the city for the SEC investigation, and the considering of adding pensions to an additional 60 to 62 firefighters. One might ask to all of this is, what's the line of thinking? I watched your depositions, and the taxpayers would be out of their minds. They'd be angry if they knew how you responded to many of the answers that were given. When I look out over Victorville, I see
you have 30 seconds.
I see a sea of rundown housing and people barely scraping by with drugs and crime, trash scattered everywhere, rundown roads and infrastructure. One might think to ask, with this and all the other issues, one would hope that we could provide better jobs, higher paying jobs, give people their own sense of belonging and self-worth, create opportunity and growth and improvement. I want you to know that that's what ComAv has been intending to do and continues to do. Thank you.
After Michelle, it will be Dr. Janice Batran.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Harold, and I happen to be extended family that most of you don't know. Christina Ironman and Daryl Jackson are my sister and my nephew. They both work at ComAv. They have been treated very well by this company. I also would like to know why you feel that spending money on lawsuits and taking these people's money to spend on lawsuits helps anybody, you or the community or anybody else. I have also obviously lived here since I was about 7, and wasting money and time, yours, theirs, ours, our money, because it's not your money, it's taxpayer money, on stuff like this, instead of putting it in places where you obviously need it, as you've said, this gentleman didn't have money for projects because their bottom line is so low. So if you have money to spend on lawsuits against companies that are making you money, why don't you take that money and put it somewhere else? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem Cox, esteemed council members. My name is Dr. Janice Bedian. I am a voter. I'm a mother of 7 and a grandmother of 8. My husband, Randall Bedian, is the IT person for ComAv, and he's very proud to be there. I have the honor of being a teacher for your students through Victor Valley Unified High School District. ComAv is a family business who brings the meaning of family to many of your voters in our community. ComAv also trains many of our students in the high desert for the profession of aviation mechanic. I urge you to settle your disagreements with ComAv and embrace them as a valuable business in Victorville. I think they would make you proud. Please stop wasting our taxpayer money on litigation. Thank you for your time tonight.
Teresa Cole, and after Teresa, Susan Rhodes.
Hi, my name's Teresa Cole. I've been with ComAv since January of '99. I'm now inspector auditor there. I have seen that airport grow, the company grow, the city grow, and a lot of it is due to the affiliations with ComAv. A lot of families have moved here, which is building the economy. Children are going into your high schools, your other schools. Our customers bringing you economy through the hotels, car rentals, restaurants. And it really has grown.
Adele Basilius, and then after Adele will be Tommy Jefferson.
Hi, my name is Susan Rhodes, and I'm a program manager with ComAv. I have been a part of ComAv family for 10 years, and I drive 90 miles one way just to be here. And I am just asking that we are treated fairly like all other tenants. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adele. I'm here to support my company, ComAv. I'd like to represent my company as aircraft mechanic here. They open so much business for people here, and we're here to stop the litigation against our company and give a fair, decent, common, just fair grounds to all our company as our other tenants, and spend this wisely on hiring new people here in this higher desert instead of paying it on spending taxpayer money on litigations and lawsuits. Thank you very much.
Tammy Jefferson, and after Tammy, John Fenton.
My name is Tammy Jefferson, and I've been an associate of ComAv since the year 2000. I'm a program manager, and like many of my fellow associates, I've raised my family, and I'm grateful for the steady income that I've had. And because of that job and the steady income, I've been able to contribute to the High Desert community financially. I think it's important to say that our tax dollars shouldn't be wasted and that they should be utilized elsewhere. I'd like to thank you, Blanca, personally, for sticking up for us and believing in us as a company.
You're welcome.
I feel so strongly about this that I put the effort in coming in tonight, my personal time, to stand here before you and ask for you to back ComAv and Mr. Craig Garrick as a person who believes in the community and personal growth. Thank you.
After John Fenton, Diana Fenton.
Good evening. My name is John Fenton. I've been a resident of the High Desert for 26 years. I'm a senior operations lead at ComAv Technical Services. My whole family works there. My oldest son's been there 17 years. My wife and I have been there 17 years. Family-oriented company. It brings in revenue to the city. We spend our money here. We live here. We believe in the community. You guys should be supporting us. Thank you.
After Diana, it'll be Karina Macias.
Hi, my name is Diana Fenton. I've been with ComAv for 18 years. I'm a program manager. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. This is a great company. It has grown in so many ways and has helped this community grow. It plans on keep on growing, even bigger, which will be more jobs for more people. And that's the important thing, is to grow this community as a whole so we all can be successful in it. All we're asking for is to be treated equally like the other tenants that are there. Blanca, you rock.
Hi, my name is Karina Macias. I'm a part of the ComAv family, and I care to what happens to ComAv because thanks to ComAv, I don't have to commute down the hill to Chino to work. Thank you so much.
Susan Gray, and after Susan, Chris McKierman.
Good evening. My name is Susan Gray. I am a ComAv family, and I was there in year 2000. As John said, everything that all the Garrett family says, I cannot thank them enough for being up here and supporting. I've seen them move his whole family up here through the years. And because of that, he gave us a job to support our family. Please, we just ask you to please stop. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Chris McCarran. I'm a 9-year member of the ComAv family. I'm an engine mechanic. I'm a 41-year resident of the High Desert. I'm a voter. My wife's also a voter. My daughter's a voter. I'm just here to support my family. A lot of these guys, man, they had a lot of really good things to say, and I can't really top it other than these guys brought me in as a student years and years ago in 2008, and I came through as a student, worked my way up through the ranks and up to a lead position now, and I'm very appreciative of that, and that's why I'm here tonight. Thank you.
Karen Early, and then after Karen, Jeffrey Bean.
Hi, my name is Karen Early, and compared to everyone here, I'm the baby. I've only been here 2 years, but I am very thankful for this company. As elected officials, you have the opportunity to do good for your community, to make good decisions, to bring jobs, to keep the jobs. And from everything that I have seen from the company, read in the papers, and personally witnessed, I'm doubting that you're doing a very good job, and I would really ask you to take a good look at what you're doing, because people are counting on you. Everyone is. Blanca, thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Bean. I've been the facilities maintenance manager for ComAv for the last 4 years, and I'm here to support this company. I've been a resident of Victorville for 34 years. I'm a voter, and my family votes. I hope that the council will consider coming to the table and working with ComAv to reach a fair agreement in the lease and stop the litigation. I just wanted to let you guys know that ComAv supports the AMP school and also the OJT program through the city, and we would like for you guys to know that ComAv supports not just the community, but also those programs. Thank you.
Now I have Joanna Deward, and then after Joanna is Sonia R. Goodman.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here, and I'm grateful to represent ComAv. My name is Joanna Garrett Cloward, and I'm Craig Garrett's daughter. And I just want to let you know I've been here a long time, and now my family lives here. I have 5 children, so there's 7 of us that participate and work in this community, and it means a lot to us. We're very dedicated not only to the community but to our schools. And I have watched my father suffer a great deal because of this council, and I am frustrated, honestly. This man tries so hard to help build this community. His only desire is to build it and bless it and help it, and that's exactly what you people should be doing. So why on earth we're on different sides of the table, I have no idea. But I hope that finally we're going to make some right decisions, get on the same side of the table, and build this community the way that we should, so that our children can stay here, and that they can enjoy it here, and they can be blessed here, and our community can grow and develop the way that it should. That's why this man is here, and honestly, if I were him, I wouldn't have stayed. So I think you should give thanks that he's still here, and get behind him and support him. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Sonia Goodman. I am an employee of ComAv for the past 3 years. ComAv has provided me with an opportunity to grow in the high desert. There are not many opportunities out there, and I just happened to fall into the right company, because one thing that I know about ComAv, it is very family-oriented. And not only does ComAv bring jobs to our local communities, but it also brings economic growth, because with those customers that we have here, they lodge and eat and shop here when they can't go back home and do it. So we need to think about that we are maintaining a community that desperately needs it. Thank you.
I probably am mispronouncing this, but it looks like Shanar something, or Shanae, or Shanae, or Shanai.
I'm one of the newest ones here. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Blanca. This is asinine. Everybody knows right from wrong. This is about money. I'm a commuter. I was a commuter. Thanks to ComAv, I'm not anymore. I don't have to go all the way to downtown LA because I can work 10 minutes from home. My son is 18, looking to go to school for an MP mechanic. He's building this community, and you guys know it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Do the right thing.
Another one, Snameth or Snameth? Carter?
Carter.
Yeah.
Good evening. My girl works for ComAv. She's been here not long. Everybody took her in, but you guys all pay taxes too, right? And I doubt seriously you guys will make a counterproductive investment, so I'll leave it at that.
Terry Delgado, and after Terry, Miller Marks.
My name is Terry Delgado, born and raised in Redondo Beach, now living in Adelanto. I came because the last city hall meeting you guys had, man, was really embarrassing to me, because I live in Adelanto, but I love the high desert, period. I don't care what. I know what these guys are going through because I worked for McDonnell Douglas for a long time and they closed down on me, but that's okay. I just retired. I'm that old. My parents were born and raised in Puerto Rico, okay? Last year I heard that I'm not, this isn't Mexico, talking English from some of you guys up here, and I'm going to tell you something. That's not going to go good with your next election, because I'm going to make sure that you're not in the city anymore. I'm going to make sure that every resident that was affected by what you guys said is going to come out here. Okay? I am sure that once some of these customers that you have, once they found out about it today, they were pretty upset about it, okay? And somebody up here does bookkeeping, okay? And they're not doing it the right way. And I'm also
have 30
looking into
seconds.
that. Thank you. Straighten out your act.
Craig Garrick. Oh, I'm sorry, I did call you.
Yeah, do you call me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, hi, everybody. God bless everybody over here. Madam Mayor, my name is Miller Marks, and we want to bring this to your attention, to you and the council, is I live on Mariposa and Tamarack, and a few weeks ago, they had another accident on Mariposa Road, and I just wanted to bring that attention to you to see about these speeders, because there's a lot of speeding traffic on this Mariposa Road, and they're breaking the law very bad. And I know I mentioned it to Captain Schuler, and I know he's working on it too, you know. And we need a caution light to slow down those speeders. They're, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm glad nobody got real bad hurt. They knocked off the telephone pole. My granddaughter got afraid that the car was going to go right in the house. Matter of fact, she filmed all that, but I don't have the film on me. But I could bring it to one of your clerks, and you could look at it, and the police report too. And there was 2 young kids. I don't know if there was high or drugs was involved, or there was probably drinking, but they speed on this Mariposa terrible, and we need some help. I mean, we have to do something about it. I mean, we can't just ignore it. And I've been there for 27 or 28 years, and there was never traffic like this. And now everybody's moving out here, and they're driving. They're taking the speed in their own hands. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And we need a law to stop it, because we don't want nobody to get killed out there, So please do something about that, okay? Thank you for your time. God bless.
I am actually overwhelmed with gratitude to our employees. This group of people coming tonight was not orchestrated by any council member. Blanca Gomez did not organize this activity, and I don't think, Blanca, you had any idea that the Comab family was coming tonight. I'm very, very grateful to this group. I'm actually a little overwhelmed by it, to be candid with you. I'm tired of this fight. We've spent over $2 million trying to get this city council to do something right. We have probably made over 30 requests for settlement without even a response, and most of this council has acknowledged to me that they haven't even had the decency to read the emails I sent them. I'm telling you, this has been going on for 3 years. We made an offer to extend this Hangar 681 lease 1 year before its termination, and our offer was market value. Whatever the value is, determined by an appraiser, will pay it. And I have spent, and we have spent as a Comab family, over $2 million. I want this family to know how very, very grateful I am that they had the courage to come here. This is hard for most of our employees to stand at a podium and talk to you. I know it's hard for them, and I just feel a tremendous sense of gratitude that they're here as a representative body. This is a percentage, a relatively small percentage of the Comab family.
You have
and
30 seconds.
I personally thank God that there's good individuals, including in this beautiful and sweet company we've built over 20 years, that care enough to come here, as frightened as they may be, to tell you how they feel and ask you to please stop the nonsense and do the right thing to build jobs in this community. Thank you.
I still have 2 cards left. One is, I can make out the name. I cannot make out the name. And the other one is Lily. Just Lily, no last name. Is there anyone here by that name?
2 weeks ago, I had a terrible encounter with Mayor Gloria Garcia in my mom's office space. I was writing on sticky notes waiting for my mom when I stood up to throw away some paper. Our mayor spotted me in the office and scurried around the office yelling and mumbling, "There's a kid in the office." After a dramatic spell, she confronted me, throwing her hands up violently and motioning me to get out. I was surprised yet dismayed. She was to have been treated lesser than human. I felt as if she was speaking to an animal. Please respect my presence even if it hurts to see me around. I am here to stay and I want to be treated with respect. You don't have to like me, but please don't boo me either.
This card, Mayor asked me to read it. I can't. So who lives in Lee Avenue that didn't get to speak?
Good evening.
City of Victorville, good evening. Louis Lasser. I've taken a great benefit with this ComAv, and I think that any rift will slow its momentum, and that we together have made this company, and we should, if we could stay with it, it will flower into an even more beneficial. My name is Louis Lasser. I'm an a FAA technician, and I used to travel around a lot just to keep in with the aviation maintenance. But now, with ComAv, those companies have come to Victorville Airport instead of me having to travel to Washington to find the kind of companies that I want to work with. Now, because of you and ComAv, they're coming to Victorville Airport. And that shows that that you and us are doing something really fantastic. That's about it. Oh yeah, and to keep from bottlenecking the.
You have
growth.
30 seconds.
Okay, the growth of ComAv.
Those were all the cards that I had. So now we move on to reports from our city manager.
Madam Mayor and members of the council, I'm very pleased to announce that after a nationwide search, we have selected a gentleman by the name of Greg Benson to serve as our fire chief and to help start up the new City of Victorville Fire Department. Mr. Benson has served for more than 35 years in the public safety sector, with more than 25 years of his career in fire service at all ranks from firefighter to fire chief. In addition, Mr. Benson has helped fire departments from across the nation achieve highly coveted accreditation status, and he oversaw the formation of the Fox River and Countryside Fire Protection District in Illinois, where he served as the district's fire chief for 5 years. These experiences, along with his sincere commitment to community involvement, makes Mr. Benson the ideal person to lead our city fire department, oversee its formation, and achieve service in excellence. Mr. Benson is a native of Illinois, and we look forward to welcoming him and his wife Karen to our wonderful city of Victorville. Mr. Benson will begin work on April 23rd with division chief and battalion chief interviews to follow shortly thereafter. After tonight's meeting, tomorrow, we'll actually be issuing a formal press release to the public announcing this hire.
Wonderful news. Thank you. Now we move on to discussion and possible action regarding items for the upcoming City Council agenda. I'll start with Gomez over here.
Member Gomez has nothing to add.
Have anything?
I have one thing I'd like to agendize for closed session. Evaluation of our interims. I'm sorry, I had the microphone off. Probably didn't get picked up. I'm asking to agendize for our next closed session meeting an item to evaluate our interim city manager.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Can we have discussion?
We can have discussion.
Don't we need to talk about what this evaluation is? Is there procedure and policy in place that says every 6 months we evaluate?
It's just setting up for an item for the upcoming City Council agenda.
So we're going to speak
We're
in
just
closed session.
agendizing it.
I'm not suggesting we evaluate the city manager in this meeting. We're not permitted to do that.
No, I'm
I'd
asking
like to
for
get it scheduled
process.
for the next closed session.
I'm asking for process. What's the process? Just ask and go ahead, or do we have procedures?
That can be discussed at the next meeting once you have the item on the agenda.
So it'd be discussed in open session?
No, at closed
Oh,
session,
okay,
you can
got
discuss
it.
what the strategy is going to be.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the next,
Excuse me,
yes.
do we need to vote on it?
Yeah.
Yes. Need a vote?
Yeah. Motion by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the upcoming agenda, I'd like to request the council support in having the staff provide a recommendation for the upcoming election for a public safety tax. And the reason is obviously revenue is a big issue on this issue, and I'm just not seeing it, so I'd like to agendize that. Special public safety.
I'll second it for discussion at the meeting.
So the motion's for consideration of a special tax for public safety.
Didn't we just have a special election and it failed? How much more money we're going to be spending? Every time we want to just at the whim say an election, another one. How much was this one? $100,000? $25,000 to advocate for it? How many more times?
As many as we need.
Oh, is your money, right? Coming out of your pocket?
I have something that I'm going to add on so the public can be aware of council members' expenses. We need to be transparent.
So the motion was by Mr. Negretti, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with Ms. Gomez voting no.
Anybody else have anything for the agenda? No? Okay. Then we move on to reports from council members, and this is a 5-minute time limit. I'll start with Ms. Gomez.
I'm gathering my thoughts, so I'll go after the next person.
I'm starting with you.
Like I said, I'm gathering my thoughts, and I need a couple of minutes, so I'll go after the next person.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I was insulted tonight. I haven't had a lot of insults, but I've had enough in my life to know when it's an insult. One of my fellow council members, out of complete anger and frustration of dealing with me, insulted me. And I know by the tone that it was intended to be an insult. She called me Grandpa. Grandpa. I know it was an insult, and I think the meaning behind it was, I'm old. I don't have the knowledge, experience, intelligence, wisdom, any of that stuff that comes with age to even be qualified to hold this job, and everybody would be better off if I'd move out of the way. But I have to tell you, I've had some wonderful things happen in my life, really wonderful. Most of them have involved my family. There is almost nothing that matches the wonder and the joy of becoming a grandfather. The only thing I look forward to that might be even better is to become a great-grandfather. So while it was intended to be an insult, frankly, I consider it the highest and certainly the only compliment I've received from my fellow council member. I thank her for it.
We received the audit, and I know we have 2 members that's on the audit committee. I fully understood auditor's requirement to say that they have a going concern. On the other hand, when I read the Daily Press presentation, I was a little bit shocked at the way it was interpreted. I would like to ask for the next agenda that the 2 members of the audit committee, which is the mayor and Mr. Kennedy, give a full explanation in regard to the finances, why there's an ongoing concern, why it's a requirement. It pointed out some things that I won't go into it right now. This is not the time. It's not an agenda item. But I've had a lot of questions that come up from the general public, and it needs to be clarified for the benefits of all the people in this city. So I'd like to ask we agendize that at the next meeting and have a full and complete explanation.
That's an item for E3, so if it's okay with the council to go back to E3 and then consider that item.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's my report. I didn't realize I was going to do that until I got to thinking about that. I had a note, and I just simply forgot it. But it's totally up to the council.
Well, if you want to agendize it, I will.
Well, the mayor doesn't have absolute power either, and if she breaks this precedent, I'm hoping that she would respect that same value and do it for other council members, not just Pro Temp Cox, because he has reins over everyone else but me.
Oh, that's just an unfair statement.
No,
and
it's not
there's
unfair.
No need to say stuff like that.
I do need to
Come
say
on,
that.
Come on. That's just
You're very experienced, and for you to slip up and go on E3 and try to do that, you're pulling the wool over everyone but me.
Oh, that's just horrible that you say that. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, if the mayor decides and we get presidents, guess what? Next time I'm going to be fighting when I do that.
It's up to the whole council.
It hasn't even been motioned.
I'll wait till next meeting if it's so highly offensive to the council member on the left to explain to the public what really happened with the audit. Doesn't bother me a bit.
Andre?
It's up to you as a presiding officer if you want to go back to an agenda item. In the past, you've been able to do that.
I understand. I do have the authority to do that, and I did say that he could.
And so next time I'm going to be fighting you on that one. So be ready.
Ah, my goodness. You're always fighting. Okay. We will.
So I have a motion by Mr. Cox and then a second by Mr. Negretti. Yeah.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
We were doing this out of order, so I'm not going to agree to that.
Motion carries with Ms. Gomez voting no.
Okay. Now we move on to E4, reports from council members. Did else have anything to report? Gomez?
Yes. It's Councilmember Gomez to you.
Gomez?
Yes. Garcia. So I want to leave this meeting with inviting each of you to stay and thank you for the empowering, and let it be known that your vote and your voice and your presence is here, and it's not going to be unseen. It was live streamed. Hopefully it's not going to be redacted as our previous videos have been redacted by city staff. Hopefully this one will maintain its order and it won't be redacted. I'm still looking into that. And we need people to hold council members definitely accountable. As you can see in this dais, there is no accountability, no following of rules or regulations, and always a minority vote or voice gets overspun. That's why I keep fighting and arguing. Guess what? That will continue. I'm here till 2020 and I will run for a re-election. Your presence today will not be in vain. I hope that each of your jobs will be secured, and if you ever feel that your jobs are in jeopardy because of any of the decisions here at the dais, please exercise your voice at the polls and bring into office those who have the vested interest that they see fit with you. And for Kavu, I'm not against your company in the airport, and I'm just afraid that perhaps you would be ComAv too. You would fall into the same trap. And I was just looking out for you. So please don't hold that against me. Once again, thank you. And lastly, I am here as a resource. I cannot emphasize your power in voting, a legislative body that is attentive to your working needs, your well-being, and your interests. If I could share with you what has taken place in closed sessions, no words of my colleagues would show that they're satisfied with any of your presence. If you would have witnessed what came out of every single person's mouth in regards to ComAv and its litigation, you would be just as angry as I was. So if I was called on calling Mr. Kennedy grandpa, that's how upset I was. Because guess what? My voice didn't matter in that closed session. I wanted to seek and for you do the best, but I can't do it by myself. So your presence is so important. Thank you for empowering. Today I realized the power of just one council member with all of you. If November 2018 comes and you can uproot 2 seats that are coming up for election and not continue that litigation, that's your opportunity to do it. We're going to spend $2 million more. Why don't we spend it on uprooting the status quo? You know who's on your side, and you know who has stopped trying to get litigation and trying to bring settlement. And yes, I'm talking about these 2 seats. We need to start getting people in this office that represent your concerns and go forward and move on. I'm already seeking candidates, and I have been looking for candidates. It's not very easy to find any candidate. Everybody thinks they need experience. Well, I didn't have any, but I have a voice. And I'm willing to stand up for that voice and learn. And I have been. And I will continue to do that. I will continue to be your voice here. I'm your tool. I will continue to do that. But please, help me search for candidates. November 2018 is coming soon. Elections open up mid-July. You don't know this because we don't let you know, because guess what? We don't want you to run for office because we want to continue to be status quo. I'm tired of that too. That's why I ran for office with absolutely no experience. This is why you see my colleagues, that they're able to put a show for me and make me look stupid at times. But I will always speak my mind, and I need to tell every one of you that we can make a difference together. Thank you.
There being no other business before the council, this meeting is adjourned.